It's interesting what happens when you treat every little piece of a thing like it's everything.
Hey, this is Rob with the Infatuation. Welcome to another Infatuation Academy with Dell XPS. We're super excited to have you guys. And before I introduce our guest for tonight, I just want to talk to you about the Academy really quick. So we've teamed up with Dell XPS to connect you with some of the biggest entertainers, artists, and musicians through interactive experiences like virtual conversations, digital workshops, etc. You can RSVP for each event the next week. And we have them every Thursday. So about the Dell XPS really quick, the XPS laptops are designed to be the best. They have the highest resolution 4K plus displays. The build is really nice for such a small computer. It feels really good in my hand. It's really great for productivity. And so now introducing our guest for tonight, super excited to have her. We have Trisha Miranda. She's danced with or choreographed dances for an extremely impressive list of people. It includes Missy Elliot, Nicki Minaj, Kendrick Lamar, Prince, even LeBron James. She's choreographed for award and television shows like the VMAs, the Grammys, the Billboard Music Awards, and she was a natural choice for us to join the Infatuation Academy for Choreography 101. So we have a virtual workshop with her. How are you doing, Trisha?
Hi, Rob. Good. How are you? Thanks for having me. Hey, guys, everybody out there. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I was excited when my manager, sent me a call and asked me to do this. I was like, whoa, they're going to have dance and choreography on this. I'm really excited. So I'm very honored to be chosen. Yeah, like you said, I've danced and choreographed for the past 19 to 20 years that I've been in LA, still currently living in LA, teaching classes at Millennium Dance Complex. I have a YouTube channel where, all my classes live. And I'm in my home studio, where now I'm starting to make a lot of videos. So it's really cool, but I'm so excited to be here. And thank you to Infatuation Academy and to Dell for my XPS. Like, it is a really cool computer, actually. And when me and my assistant, Amari, opened it up, we were like, ooh, look at the lighting, like the keyboard lit up into like a really cool lavender. So I like that.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's so amazing to have you. We're so happy that you took the time to teach everybody what you do so well. We're also giving away a Dell XPS laptop. And the way that this works is that as you're watching the video, you have to put a question in the chat box. So ask Trisha anything that you want, throw it in there. And then if you've entered that in, at the end of the event, we're also going to share a link for you to fill out a survey. And if you've done those two things, we're going to give away a Dell XPS laptop to somebody. So make sure you throw in questions into the chat box. You can throw in as many as you want. And then Trisha will be answering them after. So, okay, great. We can take it away with the video.
Okay, so let's get started. So you're gonna need a space. I'm in my home studio, but you don't need a full studio to do this. You can use a living room, a bedroom, the kitchen, whatever you want. Just move some furniture and give yourself some space. Maybe invite a friend along. I brought my assistant Amari to come and dance with me. So you'll also need maybe a laptop or a phone to play your music off of. So we're gonna start really slow with some grooves. I'm gonna play the music while we do it, and you're just gonna catch on. We'll do it really slow, and then we'll pick up the speed, and we'll just do it like that, and you'll just catch on. Have a lot of fun with it. These are gonna be simple grooves that we can all do to any song, honestly. I chose this song that I'm about to play. It's just an instrumental, but I love the beats in it. So today's just follow along, live your life, all that good stuff. And yeah, okay, so let's get started. Amari, plug that in for me, please. And then press play. And then we're gonna start. So, we're gonna start on your right leg. This is just the feet. Left, tap, left. Left, tap, right. Right, tap, left. Good, and your back is just sitting. You're gonna clap with it. Left, tap, right. Good. we doing? So, shall we add all that on from the top? Want to do that? Shall we do that? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna take it from the top. You're gonna do 4 of each. Okay, here we go. Here we can do music. We're gonna do music. I'll tell you when to start. We're starting with the claps. Then the legs out. Then the chest drop. Then we're going around. Right? Here we go. Top, top, 6 with the claps. Here we go. Down. Hey. Good. Jump together. And right, left. Good. Nice. All right. Step on the right. Chest down. Down. Up. 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 throw. Left, right, left, right. Good. We're gonna repeat. To the left side. We go slow. Pull. Sit. Throw. Hips go right, left, right. Again. To the right. Repeat. Slow. Sit. Throw. Hips go left, right, left. Last time. To the left. Pull. Roll. Throw. And sit. Ha. Yes. Watch this. Amari's gonna go tempo. Here we go. 5. Come here, little baby. 5, 6. It looks like this. Pull. Ha. Throw. Sit. Hey. Pull. Hey. Sit. Again. Pull. Ha. Sit. Yes. Pull. Ha. Sit. Yes. All right. Put the music for me real quick. Nice. How are we feeling? Are you good? By now, you should be super, 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 super sweaty. So even though these grooves are really simple, they get challenging by the tempo, right? So the more we pick it up, meaning the faster we go, the more challenging it is, okay? So feel free, because like right now I'm just using an instrumental. So any music you have that is in the same, I would say, speed, or even it could be faster, it can even be slower. You can still do these steps at any pace you want. So do you know what I'm saying? Like this, what I was teaching, it can be this slow, and you can go half tempo the whole time, or you can challenge yourself. Like if you're more of an advanced dancer, you can challenge yourselves and pick up the speed the whole time, and maybe do 2 rounds of it instead of 1. If you are just a person that's me, a little older, than Amari, you can slow it down. But what I love about these grooves is that you're getting a super, super, super workout. So don't judge because we're super sweaty, but it feels good. It feels good to dance. So you've learned the whole dance already. You've learned everything from top to bottom, okay? So now what I want to do is go from the top with no music and just go through the grooves and put them all together. Because remember, you have section 1 and section 2, okay? So let's go back from the top of section 2, okay? Just so we know where we're at. So we just finished this clapping. This is the repeat of the clap, not the very beginning, okay? So we just finished the repeat of the clap. Now from here, we're gonna push to the right. You're pushing 1, dip, 2, you go. Pony, 6, 7, 8, to the left, 2, sit, 3, 4, you go. Pony, 6, 7, you repeat it. Go, push, 2, sit, 3, 4, go. Pony, and the 6, good. 7, 8, push, 1, 2, sit, 3, 4, you go. Pony, 6, get ready to body roll to the right. Pull, you go, sit, throw. Now your hips are gonna go the way you're about to repeat, right? So now you're gonna go left, right, left, right. You pull left, you sit, you throw. Hips go right, left, right, left. You pull 1, 2, you sit, 3, throw it, 4, hips go left, right. Good, you guys. And pull, 2, go 3, sit, 4, hips go right. Little faster. 7, he goes and pull. And a sit and a throw to rock. 6, 7, good. 8, pull, go. And a sit and a throw. And a ha, 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 ha. Stop there. Yeah, I know we repeat, but at the end of this, you're gonna hear these little drums come in. You're gonna step forward on the right leg and you're just gonna hit this. Go, 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 go. And that's kind of like your own little exclamation point, or your little period, your little stamp of the end of the piece, okay? You just said, I did that, go, 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 yes. And then you walk away like a music video. You sit in the beanbag. Okay, but, so that's section 2. I'm gonna have Amari come on in. Come on in, Amari, great. And he's gonna do it from top to bottom with no music, okay? Just counts. So these start from the claps. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, we go. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. Good. and a 6, and a 7, and an 8. Repeat last time. 2, good. 3, 4, nice. 5, 6. He's gonna sit with the chest. This is slow. Pop, pop, and this is actual tempo. Good. Hop, boom, hop. Nice, Amari. Good. 6. He's gonna take it around. 1, 2, 3. Hop. 6. Hop. Around. 3, 4. Good. 5, 6, 7. He goes. Dip. 2, 4, 6. Nice. Dip. 2, 3, 4. Good. 5, 6. To the claps. Go deep. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. Hop, hop, hop. Nice. Here we go. Second section. We push. 1, 2. Dip. 3, 4. Heap ponies. And a 6. And a 7. And an 8. Stay back. 2. Good. 3, 4. And a 5. And a 6. And a 7. Again. Go. 2, 6, 3, 4. Nice. 5. And a 6. And a 7. And an 8. He goes left. 2. Good. 3, 4. And a 5. And a 6. To the body roll. He goes pull. Sit. Throw. And a swing. And a swing. And a swing. Pull. Sit. Throw. And a swing. And a swing. And a swing. Pull. Throw. And a swing. Good. Good. And pull. 2. Last time. 5 and a 6 and a 7 and an 8 and da-da-da. Yes. Nice. Okay, great. So Mari's gonna go press play for me. He's gonna take 2 sips of water. Yeah, and he's gonna go now. Okay, so we're gonna do everything from the top with music all the way through. Just have fun with it, no pressure. Like I said earlier, it's, it can be for advanced or, the professional dancer. That would be the advanced dancer. It could be for the advanced professional dancer, or even just moms and dads that are trying to get their workout in during the quarantine, or even beginner dancers. My little nuggets, to the teens, to the older adults, whatever it is. This, there's no age here, there's no levels here. You determine your level. So you can go slower, faster. We already talked about all that stuff. So just have a good time, enjoy it, and record yourself doing this combo to any music of your choice. Tag me in it, and yeah, let's just have a good time. Okay, so Mari's gonna go full out from the top with the music. You guys are gonna follow along, and we're gonna kill it. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Here we go. Hey. Oh yeah, how's that? Alright, here we go. From the top, with the claps, we go. Hey! This beat is so fresh. Here we go. Down.
Welcome back. We hope you all enjoyed that tutorial. We got a lot of questions from you all, which we're super excited about. So we'll just start with the first one here. Tricia, you know, your YouTube channel has been a huge hit with almost 2 million subscribers. How has social media helped share your work?
You know what's funny is that I actually wasn't even trying to have a big social media following because I was an industry dancer and choreographer. And it kind of accidentally happened. And when it did, I almost like fought against it. You know, my agent, Pete, would be like, this is really great. Like, let's, you know, roll with this. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let's find creative ways to like build your channel. And I was always like, no, like, I don't want to, you know, like, I was like, but I don't want to be a social media person, you know, I don't want to be a YouTube choreographer. And then once the videos kept going viral, I saw that it was actually getting my work out there, and the work that creatively is something that I had all creative power over. So it wasn't like I had an artist or a label or a director giving me directions to follow or telling me that I can't be too creative or to this. So being able to just post what I wanted and it being sent out to the masses, I actually started getting a lot of industry work from my YouTube following, which is really cool. So I know one of my videos, Rihanna's BBHMM, that one is probably my biggest video today. It's like at 62 million or something. And I know that video circulated through Pixar. And I had like celebrities like calling in to my agency asking me to teach them that dance. Like they just wanted to get in a studio with me and pay me to teach them that choreography. So it was really cool. Like my YouTube was starting to get me connected with celebrities, and I started getting a lot of commercials through it, and then being hired from actual artists. So now, you know, you'll see all the labels and all the musical artists going directly to choreographers' Instagrams or their YouTubes and looking at their work and hiring them through that. And now it's become a thing to where if you don't have a lot of, you know, followers or subscribers on your channels, then it's, you know, it's likely you might not get that particular job based off of your numbers. So it's actually really, really helped me. And now I embrace it. Now I love it. And yeah, it's fun and it keeps me creative. So yeah.
Awesome. And also for everybody who just watched, we're really interested to know what you thought about the routine. If it was too difficult, if you thought it was too easy or whatnot. So feel free to throw that into the chat as well on what you thought about that. Okay, our next question is from Naomi. When did you decide to become a choreographer?
Okay, so for me, moving to LA, I've always had a plan. And actually, I started choreographing when I was 8 years old. I remember being in 4th grade and there was a talent show. And I was like, I told my best friend, I was like, I want us to be in the talent show. Like, let's do this dance. And I had my mom take me to JCPenney and I picked out the outfit. So I like, you know, I created this entire performance with me and my best friend, and we were like 8 years old, and I put our little outfits together, and I still remember it to this day. We had like pink and purple tie-dye shorts, and I wore a purple tank top and she wore the pink tank top, and I remember choreographing behind the couch. And then she broke her arm, and then we couldn't do it anymore, and I was devastated. But so I had already been creating steps, just putting steps together as a very, very young dancer. I was already in dance classes and competing at the age of 8, but I started assisting my dance teacher back home when I was 12. She was in a wheelchair, and so I became her body. She would spit out the terminology and I would dance. And so then she gave me my first class at the age of 14. So I started teaching at 14. And then at 17, with her, I ended up choreographing my first full-length ballet. I choreographed a 2-hour Nutcracker. So I have always been a choreographer and a creator. And so I knew once I moved to LA, the first thing I wanted to do was just be a dancer. And yes, I knew I was already a choreographer. And I knew that was something I wanted to be in the business. But my goal first moving to LA was to complete a career in dance first and really gain all that knowledge and wisdom from other working choreographers and legends in our business. And so, you know, it wasn't like one day as a dancer, I was like, oh my God, I want to be a choreographer. That's always been a dream in my head since I was a child. I think even before becoming a professional dancer, I was like creating full productions. I remember, this is gonna sound crazy because I'm a little crazy, but I remember being 12 years old and I got in trouble. I made flyers and we posted, me and my little cousin, she was like 5. We posted up these flyers saying, come watch our show in the backyard. And it was like Nutcracker. I was 12 years old. We were charging $5,
Wow.
put it in people's mailboxes. Come watch our show. When I tell you, my aunt came home because I was at her house. My aunt came home and there was like, I don't know, maybe like 12 or 15 people in the backyard in like fold out chairs. And I'm just there tossing my 5-year-old cousin around. We got in so much trouble. But then after she kicked all the neighbors out and all the people, she counted the money. She was like, wow. She was like, you made like $45. So I've always been a choreographer my whole life. But I knew once I had danced for, I think I want to say 12 to 13 years, I was like, and I'm done. Now let's transition on to just choreography. So
$5 is, you were confident.
I was confident. Mind you, there was no dancers. It was like me and my 5-year-old niece, cousin.
Wow.
I made it work and people were in it. They were clapping.
I love that. Okay, this question's from Christina. How much does your choreography change once you meet the actual dancers?
It changes. It can change. As a choreographer, let's say I'm hired for an artist, okay? And the artist is like, I want 8 dancers for this. 8 girls and 4 girls and 4 guys. And I'm like, okay. And so I'll get what we call a skeleton crew together, and I'll get my assistants in, and I will create the body of work on them. And then me and my assistant will go into the studio and teach what we've already created to the dancers that are actually hired on the job. So I will create a full body of work because I like going into a rehearsal fully prepared. But you create on, I create on myself and I create on my assistants, but we're not the people on the job. So once we do get into a room and we see who's hired, there might be people that have specialties that are bone breakers or trickers or b-boys or b-girls or people that can tumble and trick, or people that can have these martial arts weapons like commas and stuff like that. So once you get in there and you start to see how these people move, you start to get inspired by the dancer, and now you start to create different pictures. And we always say, don't marry this. We always say that, like, don't marry this spacing, don't marry this step, because it's always constantly changing. And it changes up until the minute right before you step on stage. So yeah, I have a lot to get there.
Okay, this question's from Casey. What was the most challenging job you've had as a choreographer or creative director?
Ooh, I had a very challenging job about 2 years ago. It was it 2 or 3 years ago? It was Nicki Minaj. I got hired by Jamie King, who's a creative director, and he hired me to choreograph Nicki Minaj's Billboard Music Awards. I want to say it was 2017, Billboard Music Awards, and it was a huge production. We hired 30 dancers. We hired 3 little mini girls, like mini kids, to play like 3 different Nicki Minaj's. And then we had Quest crew from America's Best Dance Crew. We had a guy from MJ1 show, Cirque du Soleil. His name was Schizo. We had Sideswipe, who are these like trickers. We had dancers that do a lot of choreography. And we also had 3 different stages we had to choreograph on. We had a huge fountain that and rocks everywhere with water coming out that we had to put Nicki on, where she was on this lift that took her all the way up, and water was coming out and dancers were dancing. And then we had a stage where it was her and Quest Crew who had, you know, who were doing martial arts. And then she was on this stage where David Guetta was DJing, and then we had pyro. And so in our first stage, it was like levels of this big speaker that was rolled out, and we had dancers in you know, like super crazy gear and batons and shields. And I had to put this together with my team. So Jamie King gave me about, I don't know, a day or two, and was like, I need this done in this amount of time. And we are showing her from top to bottom the second she gets here, and everyone needs to be ready. And when I tell you the amount of pressure that was, it was my first time working with Jamie King, who's very, I mean, he's a legend, so terrifying. First time working with Nicki Minaj. Then I had only 2 assistants. We had to put together this 9 minutes piece, which 9 minutes in dance world is an eternity. It's like 4 hours in dance world. And then 30 dancers. When I tell you the stress we all went through, no sleeping, no eating, like I never took breaks. But man, was that performance freaking incredible. It was so iconic. It was incredible. We opened the Billboard Awards, and it was beyond.
How long does that take from like knowing that you booked that job to the actual performance?
It depends. It's different for every job. Sometimes you only have 24 to 48 hours to put something together, depending on budget. With that particular show, because it was so much production, we had 2 weeks to put that together, and that's not likely for award shows. Usually award shows are put together really, really quick. And usually tours are the times where you have a lot more time to spend on. So, but that one specifically, I want to say we had a week and a half to 2 weeks to prepare.
Wow.
But we finished it in like 2 days because we had to show her everything, because that's how Jamie King works, his mastermind. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, but we have 2 weeks. Why am I having to finish this in 2 days? And he wanted her to sign off on everything and love everything. So then we just plug her in. But it's like, oh my God, it was so scary, but it was perfection.
Wow. Okay, great. The next question we have here is from Carlita. What inspired you to start your career as a choreographer?
Tina Landon. So Tina Landon, if you guys don't know, she was the choreographer, dancer, and creative director for Janet Jackson. I mean, in the height of her career, Velvet Rope Tour, the If music video, the iconic If choreography. So that was Tina Landon. And the fact that she wore so many hats, being a dancer, choreographer, creative director, and friend to Janet Jackson, and was such a powerhouse. And her movement was so simple, but had so much quality to it, that everything she did became so iconic in the dance world. I Get So Lonely music video, Janet Jackson's music video that she choreographed, so simple and so iconic. So many moments she did. And so she was a female, and she was just like my idol. I was like, I want to be the next Tina Landon. And so everything about her I studied and, you know, tried to learn from her without even knowing her, on becoming, you know, how to become a choreographer, how to become a creative director, and how to be successful and have longevity, and how to create iconic pieces. So Tina Landon was my inspiration.
Very cool. From Amanda, do you have any tips or tricks to remembering choreography? She says that she always feels like she forgets the last set of moves when new choreography is added.
You know what's funny is that it kind of goes both for dancers and choreographers. Like as me, like as a choreographer, there's always like an 8 count I get stuck on. And I'm like, oh, I can't create right here. I don't know why. So with a dancer, it's, you know, it's a muscle that you have to exercise constantly. So you have to continue to keep training and continue to keep working that muscle. So that way you're able to retain. It's not something that comes natural for everybody. And if you're in a class where say everyone's catching on and everyone remembers that last step, but you got to understand that everyone learns differently, and you have to go at your pace and understand that these people may have something, like they may be able to catch choreography, but you may be able to express like the essence and the style of it better than someone that can retain everything. We all have something different that we're great at and things that we all have to work on. So it's just throwing yourself out there and really, really continuing to train over and over. It'll start to get better, but I just say don't put a time frame on it, because that's when you start to get frustrated, and then you start to think something's wrong with you, and then you compare yourself to people that are getting it, and you're just like, why can't I get it? Why am I not good? You know, so it's just something that that's that one thing that you have to work harder at. And you know what also helps is looking at pieces of choreography in like sections, like little segments. If something is 8 counts long, eight counts. Okay, so in dance world we say 8 counts. You know, we count in 8s. Thinking of the first 2 8s as one section, and then just thinking of that. Okay, 2 8s, that's section 1, and then thinking of the other 2 8s. Okay, this is section 2. And once you start to break them down in sections, instead of like flooding yourself with the stress of, oh my God, it's 8 full 8 counts, that kind of helps too. But yeah, sorry if I talk too much.
No, that's a really good tip. Really good. Actually, speaking of like frustrations, from Allison, how do you overcome artist block when you're creating choreography?
I have to step away. I have to honestly step away and move on to something else, or I skip that part. So like kind of like I was saying, like if there's a whole song I have to choreograph and I got through the first verse and the first chorus and second verse, and then it's like the bridge where I'm like, oh my God, why can't I don't know what to do here, and I'm stuck and I'm sitting there frustrated, right? And I'm like, okay, let me just leave that blank for now, and then let me move to the end of the song and finish this. Because once you have that whole, right, and you start with something else, now you're like, okay, I ended this section like this, I know I start this section like that. What in between can connect them that feels good and feels organic and feels natural? And maybe putting a period on it before finishing the whole piece, it gives you a sense of like, okay, so this is like the theme I'm going for with this. So now I know how to approach this section. Say if this is so full out and this ending is so full out, maybe this middle section that I'm frustrated on, maybe I take it down. Less steps. Maybe it's something real like fluid and slow and smooth and just, you know, like warping or something. So there's different textures and dynamics. That way you keep it interesting, and then you're not forcing yourself to just continue to create more and more steps. It's not always about the steps. It's about the feeling and the movement and keeping people entertained and inspired throughout the entire piece.
Cool. Yeah. The young dancers, are there any young dancers that you feel like are coming up? This question's from Sandy.
Okay. Hey, Sandy. There's a lot of this generation, these little nuggets and munchkins that I like to call. These ones are not to be messed with. They are, I mean, incredible. These kids not only start choreographing at like age 5, like these little kids are already choreographing. And some of their choreography, like I want to say like Aiden Prince, okay, he's one of my dancers. He went viral with one of my videos when he was 8 years old, and was on the Ellen show and all this stuff. So he's done all this stuff. He just had a birthday, he's 14 now. And when I tell you this kid's choreography, I look at it and I'm like, oh, I need to quit. Like I am not worthy. Like I am as good as this 14-year-old kid. And it's like Casey Rice, another one of my dancers. She's 17 and her choreography is ridiculous. And she's been making little, videos since she was like 10 years old of like her own little choreography. And it's always been like, okay, you're pretty incredible. And then you have the little ones, like the 7 and 8-year-olds now that are dancing as good as my adult dancers. I mean, and you can't tell that generation nothing. They are so confident and they know that they're so good and they work so hard that, oh my goodness, I can't. Like the generation coming up is not normal.
The talent.
I don't know what their parents are feeding them.
but I want some. Okay, this question's from Taylor. What tips for a dancer? Do you have any tips for dancers that want to move to LA to start a professional dance career?
Yes, number one, you have to remember that it does not happen overnight. And most of the time, it doesn't even happen in the first 3 years. So that's number one. So you have to come in with the right mentality. Know that you have to have money in your bank because LA is expensive. And you are going to have roommates, I'm sure, unless you just are very fortunate to have money or a family that can help support you. Making sure that you are networking with the right people. Yes, social media is very, very big, and we have a lot of very popular and famous influencers that people want to learn from and get to know from. But you have to understand that if you want to work in the commercial world, that there are a lot of major working choreographers that are not big on social media that are doing a lot of the hiring. And they are teaching workshops and they are holding auditions, and just finding that nice balance of training with, the popular social media choreographers that you really want to dance with, and also training under the choreographers that have been in the business for decades and know the business, and learning from them and really training in everything and becoming or making sure to stay a versatile dancer. If you're already well versed in a lot of different styles, you have to be ready to fight for what you want and work really, 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 really hard, and understand that rejection is going to be 90% of your career. And just know that it's a business. It's a business and you're a product. So it's nothing personal. Unless a choreographer and a director comes to you directly and says, I just don't like you. I don't like you, and it's because of you I'm not hiring you. If they don't do that, it's not a personal thing. Once you are on the other side, I used to be a dancer. I didn't understand why I would get cut for, times when I was like, but I killed it. I did all the choreography right. And then you don't stand. Now that I'm on this side, I get all of it. There's so many channels and there's so many things, you have the directors, you have the labels, you have the artists, you have creative directors, you have the choreographers, you have the moms, the momagers, there's so many people that have a hand in casting. And a lot of times, like, you have to find people that look great together, that dance together, that have great work ethic, that people want to be around. And then have the talent. You want to be somebody that people want to be around. So you want to just have a great sense of energy about you. People like to have good people around them. So if you come out like cocky, like I was the big fish in my city and I'm cocky, now I'm going to go to LA and kill it. Like, you can't have that mentality. Humble goes a long way, and always being a student goes even further. So there's a lot. It's going to, hurt. It's going to get to your mental. So you got to, remember to stay connected to family or some type of support system, and just take your time. Take your time, because it's going to take time. And the more you know that it's going to take a while to get to where you want to get. And if something happens faster, great. But just know that it's a process and never feel defeated, because there's more behind the scenes than you'll ever know about.
That's really good advice. That's great advice. All right, this last question here is from Kylie P. Kind of related. What qualities make a dancer stand out, and what about them would make you want to work with them?
I always look for star quality in a dancer. So there are a lot of dancers that have great potential, and I see dancers that have great potential when it comes to just technicalities, you know, being able to pick up choreography and be a good dancer. But for some reason, I am drawn to the dancer that like is just a complete star from head to toe. Like the one dancer that stands out in the entire room, that has some kind of specialty to them, whether it's just executing choreography a way that is completely different from other people, or being able to tumble, or has some cool specialty that other people don't have. You know, not everyone can bone break. So if you're a dancer that can not only bone break, but also pick up choreography, that's huge. People with good looks, people that, and I don't mean like you have to be pretty for me to want to work. That's not what I mean. I mean, people that have really cool looks that I know can really work and go somewhere in the business. But at the end of the day, I'm just drawn to what I'm drawn to. And all the kids that I have mentored since the beginning, they were always very advanced for their age, extremely advanced for their age. And they had this confidence about them. And they also were very, very humble. So I do love the humble dancer, the hardworking dancer, the dancer that really cares about their image and their relationship with you. And the dancer that's just there purely based off of passion alone. And yeah, that's what I'm drawn to. And those are the biggest qualities I look for in a dancer.
Nice. Yeah, that's really helpful. Okay, well, we're going to wrap this up. Before we do, I want to let everybody know that we are giving away a Dell XPS. And the second thing you need to do, other than submitting it to the chat, is to fill out our survey. A link is going to be posted in the chat there. So just hit that link. It's a really quick survey, and let us know what you thought. And then I also want to thank Trisha. And Trisha, is there anything else that you want to say? Any last piece of advice before we log off?
I just want to say that I was very honored, and this was a really, really cool event to be a part of. I know my assistant Amari, he's not here with me today, but he was assisting me in the workshop. He's incredible. So I just want to say thank you to Amari. Obviously, thank you to Infatuation Academy and Dell again for this incredible laptop that I get to use now. But I don't know, like I'm really curious to know if anyone took the workshop today that wasn't a dancer, like a professional dancer. And I'm curious to know how the level was, because I was telling Rob earlier, I was like, you know, us as choreographers and dancers, we never know like what's easy to us and what seems like so simple, like walking to us could be very difficult for non-dancers. So I'm always just curious to know how it was for them. And, you know, I'm always a student, so I always like learning. I love, you know, positive critiques and, you know, always trying to be better for the next time. And I just love creating and being able to dance in the studio with all of you guys. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your time. This has been so fun, really helpful for me too. Trisha Miranda, everybody, and thank you to Dell, and see you next week for our next Infatuation Academy. Bye.
It's interesting what happens when you treat every little piece of a thing like it's not just one thing, but everything. Because when each part does everything better than ever, imagine what you can do with the sum of those parts. The new Dell XPS.